Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is BC. Welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. Today, well, obviously, first and foremost, shout out to Team BC, right? We have an investment division, a regular division. If you guys are rock stars and you want to join the team, you can contact me directly. But remember, only if you're a rock star, only if you're committed, and only if you're really, really, really ready. All right. Other than that, if you're interested in my coaching, modern success, or anything else that I have to offer, you can go to briancasella.com. All right. Trust the process, ladies and gentlemen. You have to trust the process. And that comes in many ways, shapes, and forms. Let me give you an example of even messages that I get all the time, in particular, a couple messages that I got today that demonstrates to me that the first moment something happens, people abandon their trust of the process. And this is what I mean by process. Let's say you get it from me or somebody else where we give you a set of tasks. We give you itemized tasks. We give you a schedule. We basically give you a blueprint to execute from A to Z to get you to the promised land of improvement, betterment, success, whatever, in the individual category that you designated, whether that be your business, finances, health, relationships, communication skills, so on and so forth. Okay. So you're given the blueprint and you're told, trust the process, follow this to the T. Okay. Now, whether it's that or anything else, all of these processes have been around for a very, very long time. All right. Now, insert person A, they start. What happens? Let me give you some classic examples of very simple things that happen with people who contact me in the realm of real estate. All right. They will be like a salesperson, right? They're given a script, right? I'm jogging a lot through my mind right now in regards to the examples that I want to use. This is the first one. I give somebody a script and I say, use this script. I don't give a shit how you feel. I don't give a shit what their response is. Follow the script because I've used the script to make millions of dollars and so have my agents. Okay. Insert person A, they start. They're plugging away, right? They ask a question on the script and suddenly the prospect hits them with a response that they don't have an answer to, or that suddenly makes them insecure. They ask a question such as, how long have you lived where you live here? Or how long have you been in your home? Person's like, why are you asking me? Why would you ask me that, right? Call ends. Now that individual, the business owner, the salesperson, is suddenly like, uh-oh, shit. And now their mind, because of, again, what caused it? The emotion. They didn't have an answer for it. They didn't feel comfortable. They were thrown off, right? A speed bump or an obstacle was thrown in the way. Now, if it's like a coaching client of mine, boom, my DMs blow up. Oh man, like what do I say if they say this? My first question is this. I say, look, right? Because in addition to that, they'll tell me the rest of the day, I changed the script. I didn't want somebody to tell me that again. So first point, they already showed distrust in the process. Why? They changed the script. That's mistake number one. Okay. But number two, I say, let's attack this subject matter logically, my friend. Let's look at this logically for a second. How many conversations did you have? Oh, I had, 40 conversations today. How about the day before? Another 30 or 40. How about the day before? Another 40, right? So let's say it's 100 or 110. And I say, and how many people to that one question that you presented on the script responded to you that way? And they're like, well, now that I think about it, just that one guy. And I say, exactly. So if we're going to be logical about this, would it make sense to change your script if one person gave you a backwards response? And of course, they didn't think about that. So like, oh yeah, you're right. And then suddenly they get their confidence back, right? Now, I'm giving you a very logical, more critical thinking, more intellectual approach to the breakdown of this meaning when we say trust the process, because when you're told trust the process, you're supposed to rely on faith predominantly because you don't know the process. You're not familiar with it. You're not familiar with the path nor the end goal because you've never been there. And rightfully so, it would make sense for you to have faith in that process, right? However, I'm giving you a logical, intellectual approach that you can now systematically piece together to give you an understanding and some sort of insight so you can stand on facts. so that you can actually conceptualize the idea and sit there and be like, okay, I understand now. So it's not just some ethereal thing. It's not some out there thing. It's real. Now you have tangible information to base it on based on that real life example. The same thing can be said about an example I've given you guys over the years where a lot of people who are or who were in my position when I started, who are like, man, you know, I'm really young and people don't take me serious, or right, whether it's pre them starting thinking that because they're young or inexperienced that people aren't going to trust them, or when they're in the process and they feel like the reason they're getting rejection or they're not getting clients is because of the lack of experience or youth. I'm bringing this up because I put that to the test. First and foremost, predominantly, I already accepted from day one. Now, I've done this prior to my real estate career and everything else that I've done. But when I got into real estate, I said, whatever the OGs, whatever the veteranos, whatever the top people teach me, I'm just going to literally emulate it and work at it until I get it. I know it works. If they're successful, it works. No matter what results I'm getting, I have no reason to doubt it. Okay. So when I was presented with the situation, like somebody would bring me that question, or maybe that question would fester in my mind. What if I am too young? Right? I said, okay, let me use my mind. Let me use logic. Let me think a little bit and let's prove this thing. So I started asking people, hey, do you care how old somebody is or really? Like, you know, if you meet them and they seem proficient at what they do, are you going to care about, you know, their youth, or maybe they haven't been in the business as long? Is that totally going to turn you off from even giving the person a chance? And I started asking people that. And I think in the end, it was like 1 or 2% of people told me it would matter to them. Like that would matter, or they would seriously not consider the person, right? Or some way, shape, and form of saying no or rejecting them. So I said, okay, first and foremost, my belief in the process is senior to that. That's not a problem. But now I actually have tangible information that I've been able to deduce from my own thinking and logic and reason that I've applied to the situation. Now, all of you have the capacity to do this. But what happens? You allow your emotions to get the best of you and your powerful mind shuts off. And you allow it to, right? This is a thinking man's game. This is a thinking man's world and reality. The more you use your mind, the more solutions will be presented to you. Period, point blank, end of story. I am cerebral in my approach, which is why I keep beating my competition. I was just looking at some of my financial statements for last month, and I was just sitting there smiling. I feel like I'm like, yo, this is cool. Right? I'm making more money now and growing and expanding because of my mind, not because I'm working 26 hours a day and all that. Right? I'm still working hard, of course, but it's a cerebral approach now. I'm out thinking the competition. I'm out thinking the next person. That's what's allowing me to ascend in success and be happier and all this other stuff. It's my mind. It's between the ears, ladies and gentlemen, nothing else. It's that same approach that allowed me to trust the process. Now, I would trust the process whether I had this logical proof or not. But now I'm giving you easy things that you can do. So going back to the first example, if 1% of the people you're talking to or less are giving you these weird responses, would it make sense to change your script? Of course not. The fact that you have people handing you something that they've proven to you with their own results that it works, why would you even question it, dude? Like, this is what I don't understand about this topic of trusting the process. Like, do you think you can, like, it's like the people that work out and think they can cheat reps and sets and all that. Dude, like, the formula is the formula for a reason. You think you're special and you're going to get away with it? Like, give me a break. What the fuck is going on here? You want to be the millionaire and say you're going to put in the hard work, but then you want to find shortcuts? The shortcut is getting better at the tasks. It's better communication, better systems, better flow, better hires, better systems, better follow-up. The answer is within the categories that you're going to have to master, right? So whether you're that new person or someone else, figure it out. Trust the damn process. What goes with that too, and this is where people mess up, is you want to now put your process and your journey and like line it up next to me or the next person. That doesn't work. Why? Because everybody's different. You're starting at a different time, different market, different variables, different person. Now, the law of averages is always going to be there. So on average, it's going to be about the same. But just because so-and-so made, I don't know, 50,000 after 3 months and you're at 20 or 30,000, or you haven't really made any money yet, you can't just throw the papers out the window and say, fuck this, it doesn't work. Because at what point in the process that I gave you, or that person gave you, or that company or organization, did we tell you to compare yourself to somebody else? Unless we specifically give metrics and say at month 3, you should be here. If you're not, it's a big problem. Then okay. But in most cases, that's not the metric that people are tripping on. It's this other assumed thing that is in their imagination or fantasy of their dream saying, I should be here. You should? Said who? And says who? You see how all this stuff is like a figment of our imagination? All this stuff falls into the same category as like fear and all the bullshit you keep telling yourself or fantasizing about that might happen. Like that client who's going to yell at you and say you're the worst salesman on the planet. I've had clients yell at me and tell me I'm the worst salesman on the planet. You know what happened? Absolutely fucking nothing. I actually laughed and said, whoa, it happened. The one thing, one of a million things that I thought of finally fucking happened, which tells me all these things I'm fantasizing aren't fucking real. I'm making them real and you're making them real. And that's the problem. So what is it going to take for you to finally trust the damn process? I still have people tripping out. Oh man, I want to join, your coaching or someone else's, but I'm hesitant. I'm like, how many times have we told you that's what you have to do? One of many things, but you still don't fucking do it. Oh man, I really want to get out there and knock on the doors and make the calls and make the cold contacts with people, but hey, I'm shy and I'm introverted. Dude, like, how is that even a question anymore? You've been following me for how long? And how much have I been preaching that? Have you been paying attention at all? For you to throw that at me is almost like an insult. That means you're not paying attention at all. And you haven't grasped like a single concept from what I've taught. You've just been listening to me as a form of entertainment and you've just been coasting along. Like, are you kidding me? Expect and demand more from yourself. Forget me, dude. From yourself. I'm going through hell right now in regards to progressing in calisthenics, man. I've made some pretty damn good progress for sure. Shout out to Boss Brian. He's the one training me, right? But man, I'm fucking sore all the time. In my mind, I should be a little bit farther along, because I'm really hard on myself. I'm correcting my form on a lot of stuff and, advancing to the next progressions in this stuff. And man, it's hard, but I have to trust the process. I know I can't skip steps. I can't go from progression 1 to 6. I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And does it suck sometimes emotionally? Hell yes, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to trust it. And I've been following it and working my ass off. So it's worth it for me to be sore and show up to the next workout. And even Boss was like, damn, dude, he's like, I didn't expect you to like quit. Right. But usually people that I work out with, like they fizzle out, but you're still going just as strong now as you did day 1 a couple months ago. I'm like, exactly, dude. That's the difference. Because I do trust the process, but I know what it's going to take. I had that vision of where I would be a year or 2 from now, and I'm holding on to that shit. And every day that I show up gets me one step closer to there. And I have to trust the process. I can't cheat it. I can't do something different. Otherwise, it's all for waste. But that's what everybody's doing. And you've been doing that in other categories of your life. And you think suddenly when you do sales or change your career, you're suddenly going to get your shit together. Dude, it takes a lot of effort to change your ways and your ways of being. So if this is a difficult concept for you, you need to start working on it in every single area of your life to trust the process. You learn something new, trust the process and force yourself to do it. Commit to something for 2 weeks or a month or 2 months or 3 months to build this muscle of commitment and trusting the process. Because goddamn, everybody's so fucking impatient. Why? Because you scroll through Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and see these show off motherfuckers who are showing you shit from like 20 years into the game of making money. And you're sitting there on day 1 complaining like, oh man, I'm not a millionaire yet. Stop that shit, dude. Stop. You really need to stop. The more you focus on yourself and what you're doing and the task at hand and what you did today and what you're doing tomorrow and what your goals are, and you concern yourself with your life first and foremost, it will be infinitely easier for you to do this shit. But you are distracted and you put other people's lives and agendas and things at the forefront of your mind and of your consciousness and at the forefront of your table, that you're causing this suffering to yourself. If you're sitting here listening to me and you know all these intimate things about my life and you're more familiar with me than you are with yourself, that's a huge problem. If you're over here gossiping about celebrities or what's going on in the news and all that, you're wasting your fucking time. You need to focus on you and what it is that you need to do and get better with, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And stop concerning yourself with me and other people. You first and foremost. This is how you begin to trust the process. Why? Because if you're not making yourself the most important thing in your life, you've already abandoned the process. You're already saying, I'm secondary or third or fourth to everything else, and I'm not that important. So of course, any goal that you set, you're going to have zero vigor behind it or enthusiasm or excitement, because you know, well, you know, my goals come sixth. First is this and this and this and this, and then I'm kind of an afterthought. You treat yourself as an afterthought in your goals and your commitments, and the process is an afterthought, and then you wonder why you're not getting results. I mean, it's sad. It really is. Your level of commitment demonstrates you have no trust in the process. Your level of self and outside accountability demonstrates that you have zero trust in the process. The fact that I would say what I do and you would listen and say, oh, I can never do that, means you don't trust the process. Because a month before or a year before, once you're saying, I'll do anything, I'll do whatever it takes to be successful or live like you or this and that. Because those are the fucking messages I get every day. Here's my response. Don't say that shit unless you mean it. Don't bullshit me. But most importantly, don't bullshit yourself, dude. Don't be saying that dumb shit because you think it's cool. If you're going to tell me you're going to be number one, you better fucking mean it. Because you think we forget? We see all the messages and all the fallen bodies and hopes and dreams on the side of the road. You know how many times people have messaged me, I'm going to be your best student and this and that? Too many times to count. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. You know how many are around? I don't think any, maybe one or two. And those are the people that are in my coaching or in my tier 2 and people that are very close to me that are doing very well. Everyone else just falls off by the wayside, or, oh, hey, I've been following you for 6, 7, 8 years since the beginning, and my life is worse now than it was in the beginning. And I'm like, what the fuck have you been doing? How many times have you committed and gotten off and then recommitted? What, like a million times? That's what you do? You're the committer and breaking of commitment person. Don't be known for that. I'm known for being a man of my word, doing exactly what it is that I say I'm going to do, accomplishing it, getting shit done, being manly, being confident, being a great communicator, of course. But see, I didn't have that shit in the beginning. I sought out to achieve it, and I have, and I'm taking it to the next level. And I've trusted the process every single step of the way because I knew I would get here 10 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago when I started. It's that simple. It's simple. It's not easy. It's simple. And I just followed it over and over and over and over. And I continue to do it. Step into a new category, calisthenics, this, that, let's do it. Nationwide real estate team, investment side. 2, 3xing my income this year. Let's do it. Whatever it is, boom, 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 boom. And we get it done. Because whatever the process is to get there, whether I like it or not, whether I hate it or not, whether I'm not familiar with it or I am, I trust it and I execute it no matter what. My emotions and what's happening around me is secondary to my commitment and trust in the process, period. This is the wavelength you have to get on, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not on this wavelength, if this seems too aggressive or intense for you, you're not cut out for it. You're not cut out for it. The top of the top in whatever category is not some lackadaisical, yeah, no. Anybody who gets to the top of whatever they do is extremely dedicated and thorough and disciplined and skilled and all the other, words, descriptive words that you want to use. Shit ain't easy, man. It's not. And you have to trust the damn process. And along the way, the process is going to piss you off. Like right now, I'm correcting my form on handstands and it's getting very good. but it's dropped my time that I can hold them now. And it's starting to frustrate the shit out of me. You can ask my trainer. But guess what? My ass is still training handstands every session hard as shit. And I want to take it to the next level. Hey, let's do this exercise now. I want to get better at that one. Oh, we're not supposed to do that today, but I want to do it. Let's go. Extra credit. Oh, we're done. Okay, I'm going to sit back and do, I'm going to stay an extra 5 minutes and hit my abs some more. Let's do it. That's the wavelength that I'm on. I want to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing because I trust the process. I know the only way is to keep putting in the work and doing more, and then taking it to the next progression and advancing, and then more work of that, and more work and more work, then the next progression and more work. And that's going to be a never-ending ladder and scale. It never stops. Your improvement in whatever it is never stops. It goes until you stop and you cease to exist as a human being. Until then, who knows when that day is going to be? Because I can tell you now, if I was to pass away now, I would pass away fucking happy and be like, yo, I gave it a great effort in life, man. This is awesome. I'm not going to be that ghost floating around pissed off. I'm going to be like, yo, I squeezed every drop of juice out of life. Imagine what I could have done if I stayed another 40, 50 years, right? We can only imagine now, right? Because our time is done. But I wouldn't be sitting there as one of those, people on the deathbed regretting stuff and having my last hour be 59 minutes of regrets. Hell no. But I trust the damn process. Okay. That's been about 20 minutes, guys. I'll end it here. Trust the process, man. Use your mind. Use those examples I gave you in the beginning if you need that help. But just do what you're supposed to do, because at the end of the day, it gets you the result that you want. All right. BrianCasella.com for anything that I have to offer. Shout out to Team BC and Modern Success. You guys want to join my squad and you're with it and you're committed and you would be a good asset for this team, contact me. All right. See ya.